Old story you have probably heard before. A young reporter rushes up to a leading politician and asks, "Sir, can you tell me why there is so much ignorance and apathy in this country?" The politician responds in an irritated voice, "I don't know, and I don't care." Like I said, it's an old story that reflects an old, unknowing and uncaring attitude that is not so distant a cousin of this latest decision by the Supreme Court in the case of Alpha Stephens. The court has essentially said, we don't know and we don't care, but we reserve the right to change our mind after December 12th, after Alpha Stephens will have been put to death in the state's electric chair. Now, in case you missed it, the Stephens appeal has nothing to do with the guilt or the innocence of Alpha Stephens. The case against him is solid, and any attempt to paint him as a saint or a martyr simply would not ring true. The simple issue before the court is whether Stephens has been sentenced to death because he is black. To support that argument, Stephens has carried before the Supreme Court an exhaustive study, a study that suggests that being black and guilty is a far more serious offense in Georgia than simply being guilty. The study suggests a dual burden that sends 4 times the number of black defendants to the electric chair while others manage to get a life sentence. That study also goes on to imply that all too many South Georgia courtrooms have an unofficial value system on human life, and black life under that value system simply is not as valuable. It is an impressive argument that Alpha Stephens has carried before the Supreme Court, so impressive that the court unanimously agreed to look into the issue a year ago almost to this date. But now, a year later, never having even reviewed the case, the court has decided to proceed with the execution and worry about the issue, the validity of the appeal, later. Perhaps, we are told, the court will take up the issue sometime during its spring session, just several months from now, but several months too late for Alpha Otis Stephens. So in setting aside the Stephens stay and establishing a date for his execution, the Stephens lawyers have asked the court, what about the merits of his appeal? And the majority of the court has responded with this decision, we don't know, and we don't care. At least not now. Besides that, it's time for the Christmas recess. With a comment, I'm Ron Saylor.